Hey everybody, and welcome to the Best Practice webinar. Today is the June 13, 2018, and we are going through to talk about software and management systems, databases, and all that sort of stuff today. So it's my top tips and tricks, I guess. I've got two checklists for you today as you're looking at and reviewing management systems software and management system software that would be used for ISO 9001, ISO 14001, ISO 45001, maybe compliance with ISO 27001, or a asset management system for food safety. So if you're a production organisation or a service organisation or manufacturing, you can look at these systems to manage your ISO systems, if you like, but more broadly other parts of your organisation. So we'll talk a little bit about risk management systems, but we're still waiting for a few more people to come online. We've got over 100 people registered for this webinar today. It's quite a popular topic. So if you've come in through the Training Academy and you're looking at the Training Academy screen, you'll see down the bottom a little view on YouTube button. If you click that button, it'll throw you across into the YouTube environment. If you're already in the YouTube environment, you can see on the side of the screen the chat function. I'd love to know where you guys are watching from, so give me a shout and say hello. So I can see that live chat. Jack's here helping me, and a big shout out to Jack for getting everything ready for today. Excuse me, we've been going since about 4:30 this morning, reviewing software, making sure we can log into demo sites and all that sort of stuff, checking things out, and making sure that we've got something really valuable for you today. And it's my independent view of what's going on. I'm just going to step out for 2 seconds because I've got a surprise for everybody. So give me 2 minutes, I'm going to run out of the room and I'll be right back. Okay, so where's everybody from? Who have we got? Hey Sophie! Hey Tim! Someone from Perth and Gemma, fantastic. Someone from the Gold Coast, hello Amanda. So hey guys, anybody else watching, let me know where you're from. Say hi. Okay, while you guys are saying hi, use that chat function on the side. What I want to show you is our surprise. So this has just dropped. Here they are, hot off the press. This is issue 3 of Certified Magazine. Some of you might have seen secret snippets and releases of that, but they're Certified Magazine issue 3. So if you are on your mailing list, we've got a hot labour, a little factory going outside the studio here today where we're stuffing these into lovely white envelopes. So we're printing envelopes and we're stuffing 2,000 magazines to go out in the mail to all of our lovely contacts. So if you're on our mailing list and you've received this before, you'll get it. If you haven't received this in hard copy before, send me a direct message on LinkedIn or jump on the Best Practice website right now as you're watching this. So go to bestpracticecertification.com.au. A little live chat window pops up and there are people, Beck and Rowan are both sitting here monitoring live chat. In the message type, please send me a copy of Certified Magazine and give us your postal address and we'll get that out to you. So that's certified, hot off the press. Literally, the boxes got delivered yesterday afternoon. We're really excited. Huge shout out to Lauren English for her work in putting this together. Jack Hammond, Alexi Folson, Rebecca Moore, myself. I think even Tim, you might have had a look at some of the, I know you're there watching, I think you might have had a look at some of the articles as we were reviewing it. Some feedback from Andrew Barrett. So a huge team of people, and great thanks to everybody. It's only small, it's only 32 pages of great reading. Little document here, but it's high value stuff. Keep thinking about people. Lee Dean, who's our publisher, he puts it all together from Gas Creative. Nick Fagan for writing his article all about next practice. Lots of people. So it's a big team effort and it's growing all of the time. So I'll talk more about that towards the end. One other announcement that I just want to quickly make. So anyone who's just come online, we're going to wait for a few more people. I think we've got about 25 watching live. So give us a shout out, say hello. Where are you guys from? Let me know where you're from. Someone from Wollongong, absolutely fantastic. Brisbane, hello Brisbane. I'll be up in Queensland next week, cruising around in outback Queensland. Give me a shout out. Tell me where you're from, so I get to know where everybody's watching from. So you got the chat function on the side there on YouTube. If you can't use that chat function, you may need a free Gmail account. So later on, for future webinars, we're doing this every month. Get yourself a free Gmail account, get yourself set up with your Gmail account, and then you can log in and you can fully interact with our community there on our YouTube channel. Welcome everybody. Just a little bit of, say hello, he's certified before I get into the formal proceedings. Okay, do you want to give me that next screen? Thanks, Jack. Okay, just a quick little bit of housekeeping. For those of you that don't know what our core business here is at Best Practice, is we are Australia's fastest growing certification company that does ISO certifications. So we are like, there's lots of technical assessors that come and go here that do quality assurance assessments, OHS management system assessments, environmental assessments, data security assessments, food safety assessments, and it's all focused on business improvement. Everybody here at Best Practice is really passionate about helping your organization. So when you're feeling that struggle, how do I get traction? How do I help my team? How do I help the business I work for to improve? That's what our team are really passionate about here at Best Practice, helping you guys to be more efficient, safer, more sustainable, more organized, and ultimately, I guess that's about more profitability or more, cost benefit from the activities that you're doing. That's what we think about every day. That's what we're working on. Obviously, a large part of what we do is face-to-face assessments, and we've got a team of 20 technical people running around Australia doing that technical on-site assessment against ISO standards. But the training academy that you're interacting with today, does a lot of that heavy lifting. So we do these webinars monthly. We have our YouTube channel that's now got over 500 videos on the YouTube channel. There's a dozen courses in our training academy that you can purchase and download and watch and learn online. There's certified magazines. So the business improvement environment that you're experiencing here at Best Practice is many faceted, but a lot of it is designed to come to you. So come to you virtually in this video-based environment. And then hopefully as we come to you in that video-based environment, we're finding things that really help you. So I'm quite excited by today's topic because I know it's a challenge. It's one of the most common questions that I get as the CEO here at Best Practice. So my name's Kobi Simmat. Welcome to the Best Practice webinar on software and management systems today. I'm the CEO and the founder here at Best Practice. And I'm ultimately the founder energy and the driving force, the excitement and the passion that comes behind this business. I won't say there's not challenges every day. It's not all, love, trust and pixie dust, as our COO told me yesterday. It is a lot of hard work and there's a lot of long hours. So this webinar, the prep for this webinar today started at 4 a.m. And it's fueled by caffeine. So that's me. If you haven't met me before, my name's Kobi Simmat. And so I just want to quickly go through this slide. There's a lot of stuff happening on Instagram here at Best Practice, a lot of fun little tips and tricks. So following us on Instagram, we obviously do a huge amount of work on YouTube. That's part of the way that we can interact with you, where you haven't got sort of any commercial or cost implications. You can sit at your desk, jump on YouTube, and start learning lots of how-to tips and tricks and questions. Obviously, there's a bit of work that we do on Twitter. I'm not sure if all of you are aware of this, but the ISO community is international, and if you look at the statistics on our website here at Best Practice, there's only 1 in 10 hits to our website are in Australia. 9 in 10 hits, or 90% of the traffic to our website, these webinars, our training academy happens outside of Australia. So you guys, that are interacting, and I see a lot of people from Australia today in the webinar, and it's probably because of timing. We will probably see the majority of the views of this webinar happen tonight, Australian time, as the international community starts to join us. So hello if you're from other places in the world. You can still comment on the video, so if you're watching this after the live event, please sing out and tell me where you're from, say hello. So if it's not live, please say hello anyway, because I monitor all of the comments. I look at the inbox on YouTube. The LinkedIn logo that's up there on the screen beside me is obviously somewhere where we are doing a huge amount of activity. We post live videos on my personal LinkedIn. So if you want to try and find me, look for @Kobi Simmat on LinkedIn. If you need an email address to send me a connection request, it's kobi@simmat.com.au. That's the email address you can use to send me a connection invite if LinkedIn won't let you just connect with me. So that's the email address to use. It's a personal one that's purely for LinkedIn. It gets lots of spam and all that sort of stuff, but that's the one, kobi@simmat.com.au, to send me a LinkedIn invite and a LinkedIn request so we can be connected on LinkedIn. And sending me a direct message or an in-mail on LinkedIn is a really great way to get through to me personally. I respond to all of the LinkedIn messages. Rebecca does help me with my LinkedIn account, so if I'm not right there to respond straight away, she may respond and then I'll come back online, but I see all of the LinkedIn messages. It's a heaps cleaner way of getting through to me. My inbox is chock-a-block with thousands of emails, all part of running this amazing company. But LinkedIn is a great way to ask me a personal question about personal stuff. Okay, the other thing too on that screen beside me, there's two things. There's an iPad there, and that's just a graphic of our training academy. And if you're interested in having a look at what courses we offer, we do sell a lot of our training online. Downloading a copy of Certified, so you can get certified electronically. We'll have that up on the website probably by the end of tomorrow. They just got delivered, so we'll have the high resolution soft copy of Certified so that you can get reading online. That'll be available by tomorrow afternoon to download. But I was really excited, that's why I wanted to show you this hot off the press. So Certified, the previous two issues of Certified, issue 1 and issue 2, are available for download on our Training Academy website, which is bestpracticeeducation.com.au. The other thing there that you'll see is our certificates, and those are the certificates that we issue when we certify somebody. So they've got our great logos there, and that's obviously what we're all about here at Best Practice. Okay, so I'm going to get into this. I'm going to quickly talk about what's involved with software, and we've got 4 different software packages to have a look at. So these are their logos. I put it out as a comment and a question on LinkedIn, and the majority of the comments came back. Could we look at Mango software, Lucidity software, Promap, and QPulse? And we're going to go through and have a look at that. Now, I will declare right now that Lucidity software do sponsor Certified. So you will see here in the back of Certified magazine, they came on board with us a year ago, and they pay us, or they contribute to the cost of printing. Now, we produce Certified, but Lucidity are one of our sponsors, and I'll declare that up front. But I'm not going to hold back the punches when I talk about what's good and bad about Lucidity, because I do want to give an independent review of what's going on. But just so you know, Lucidity is there. Now, I will say that Lucidity have got a lot of we've got a lot of common customers with Lucidity, and that's how I found out about them. They've got clients that have management systems that our assessors are going out to audit and certify. And the feedback from our assessors here at Best Practice is that it's a good system, but I'll get to that later on down the track. Okay, so you are a systems manager, you are an administrative operational person, or a person of influence, or hopefully a person of influence in your organization. You can see the benefits of having software. You want to maybe know a little bit more about what's going on with software packages. How can I use software to help me manage safety? How can I use software to help me manage quality assurance, environmental management, sustainability programs, information security management systems, or HACCP, food safety systems? So you know there's some benefits. How can you use those systems? I absolutely agree. It's definitely a great way to start to look at how you can move your organization away from maybe a paper-based system. You do struggle. I know that you guys struggle, and I know that it's hard to get interaction of your team. I know that it's hard to get people on board. I know it's hard to train people. It's hard to get people out of their old habits. It's hard to get them to change. And I know that you're struggling, and sometimes you might be frustrated, or you might be quite excited by what the future has or what the future holds. So, I've experienced times in my career where I've obviously been out doing lots of audits, or I've been a consultant, or I've got my own organization and I've got my own team. And I see that, we do have things go wrong or go pear-shaped. And, if we look at the system, and we look at the system that we set up, or the process that we set up, if we had, more efficient reporting, chains of communication or pipes of communication that, we may have been able to prevent some of those situations from happening, or certainly been more efficient. Look, software is great, but the first thing that I will say is that it is not a substitute for great quality communication. And so I am personally working myself as the leader of this team. Yes, we've got a great software package, but I am constantly looking at how I can improve my methods of communication. So when the ISO standards talk about leadership and leadership commitment, communication and influence is really, really important. And I operate, and I would like you guys to take this tip on board, is that I operate off this philosophy that the leader sets the tone. And so I do have to be uptoned, and I need you guys to be uptoned. So when you're embarking on this software journey, it's really important to, if you use an airplane analogy, you've got your oxygen mask will drop down when you get on an airplane. The concept, or someone said to me the other day, put your own mask on first. So it's really important for you guys, all of you out there as systems managers, to be uptoned, to be happy, to be a bit happy-go-lucky in terms of your tone, because you're going to be more influential in your communication. So that's just a basis point for where we're going to go with the sales process, if you like, when you're selling the potential benefits of software out to your organization. So put your own mask on first, make sure that you're happy, you're uptoned, and you've got a smiling face, and that's going to be the foundation for a good, successful building block for good quality communication, and most importantly, influence through the organization. So these software systems, they do a lot, but what they don't do is they don't improve tone and culture and communication, because you are the guys that are going to be the salespeople, or I'm going to help you through YouTube videos to sell it to your organization and get your organization engaged. The second thing that's really important with this is to be very focused on what's in it for them, or with them, if you like. What's in it for me? What's in it for them? So when you're looking at your users and you're looking at the team around you, the organization around you, it's really important to be very, very focused on what's in it for them, and that will become, the thing that helps them take ownership of what we're looking at. So, if we look at people and the engagement of people, and ultimately we're looking at software as a solution to a problem. What's the problem that you're trying to solve? The problem that you're trying to solve is to have, injuries and incidents more effectively communicated, that you've got a good system to manage, that you've got good engagement of your people. And we're running this webinar because we see software as potentially a solution for that. Minimizing the number of repeat tasks, or the re-entry of data, or minimizing paper-based systems, or minimizing mistakes and errors, or ensuring that issues that need to be escalated to senior people in the business are escalated quickly and efficiently and with appropriate information and priority. So I want you to ask, two things. Recognize it's not a substitute for good quality communication. Ask yourself the question, how can you improve your skills of influence? And then, what is the problem that you want to solve? And it's very important, because once we start looking at these systems, you will see they've got different modules and they've built different parts, and some of them are built from scratch, and some of them have evolved over time, and some of them are older and some of them are newer as we go in. But while you're thinking about that, what's the problem that you want to solve? It's not just, let's get a software package. I've got a problem, I've got a challenge, it's going to help my organization improve. What's the problem you're trying to solve? Okay, Jack, so let's have a look at my little how to choose software checklist, if you like. So what's it for? I just said that. So what's the problem? What's the main reason, the main problem that you have? Because then you can put a really clear lens over what you're looking at, and particularly, will this software solve my problem? And then how much will it cost to solve my problem? Because all of these software packages come at a cost, and if you look at costs straight away, you will fall off your chair, because you'll say, oh my God, that's so expensive. So I want you to be thinking about really clearly what's the problem that we're trying to solve. Then I want you to compare it with the value. So what value do you see, or what's valuable to you in what each of these packages are presenting? And then you can sort of ask yourself the question, do I get the value? Like I do or don't get the value, and I can or can't afford it. So as salespeople, often we will talk about here at Best Practice. If we get an objection from a customer, we'll say, "So tell me, you don't see the value, or you can't afford it." And so I want you guys to start to think about that, because when you talk about affordability, I'm sure you'll see the value, so that won't be an issue. But when you talk about affordability, I want you to start to think about what's the comparison between paying someone to fill out all the pieces of paper and process the data, paying a full-time person in the business versus the cost of the software. And you will start to see that the software is actually a really cheap solution to this problem that avoids, it eliminates human error. And I can say that ERP system that we use here at Best Practice, it's a software package called Excello. If we get some time at the end of the webinar, we will bring up the live version of our Excello here in Best Practice. We use that to manage everything, our CRM, our data, our incidents, our tasks, the lot here at Best Practice, but it's fully integrated with our planning and resource management. So it's a real resource management system here at Best Practice. And I can say it saved me 2 full-time $100,000 a year roles. So I'm saving $200,000 a year. It doesn't cost me anywhere near that. So I've got about a 65 to 70% saving per year. So I want you to be thinking about, if you didn't do this, if you didn't use software, what could I save? Now the second one is, do you need support? And I will say yes, you do. But you guys will be learning. So if you're not familiar with these software systems, you're watching this webinar, getting a bit of a gauge of what's going on. What I will say, in my experience with 3 large software implementations projects in the last 3 years, is that the early adoption support or the early implementation support is really, really critical. So I'm going to say you will need support. And so some systems will be fairly intuitive and easy to set up yourself if you've got some basic sort of, organizing and renaming skills and getting things to talk to each other. So if you start thinking about using a program called Zapier, so Zapier is a little piece of software that starts to make systems talk to each other. So your accounting package to your management system package, for example, your software package. So if you've heard of Zapier, then you probably will see that you'll be able to play with these systems by yourself. If you haven't heard of Zapier, you will need a speed dial for somebody. So if you're sitting there now at your desk watching this, or watching this on your phone, or whatever your screen you're watching it, you go, I've never heard of Zapier, write down a note to go and Google what Zapier is, and also make sure on your checklist is hotline support. An individual person to support you as part of your implementation will be really critical. So that second question there is, do you need support? Yes, you will. And so what we found when we were reviewing these systems in terms of speed to respond, I did a bit of a test this morning, and 2 of the packages were very quick to respond with questions, which means they're on the ball, and then 2 of the systems were not quick to respond to me with my questions, given that I'm giving all of these systems a shout out on this webinar. So I want you to analyze, if you go and talk to any of these organizations or any of the other brands that might be out there in the market, how quickly do they respond to you? And then more importantly, are they going to be there to nurse you through the first month or 2 or 3 months of manipulation and setup, and then implementation? Because that's really, really critical to transfer their knowledge to you, so that you can be confident to transfer your knowledge to the rest of your team in the organization. Do they have YouTube? Look, I think the video tutorial, I'm seeing that the kinesthetic learning style is the most common for us. We want to try and solve things. And so are they giving you sort of video based, and I said YouTube when we created this checklist, but do they give you some sort of help functionality where there's lots of videos on how to do things, and then they constantly updated and refreshed? We did see with some of the software programs that the videos they had recorded and put on their website were of slightly older versions of the software that they're using, and they hadn't updated the videos when they released updates to their program. So there was little modules had different names or different colors, or a video might have been 12 months old, but there's been 2 software updates. So it was really important to ensure that your software provider has a good way to be constantly updating their help as they release updates, and swapping out the older videos as they're expiring, so that you can, if you're working on it at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. to do a rollout, which we do here at Best Practice, you want to be able to get that help when they may not be at work. And so that self-service help functionality is really, really important. And the best platform for them to use is YouTube. So if your software provider, and I know some of you guys here are software providers that are watching, my advice is that YouTube is the best place to provide your videos, and they can be unlisted private links that you can send out to your customers and your subscribers, but an unlisted playlist of help videos that lets your paying customer subscribe to is the best way. So that's the piece of advice straight down the camera to the software providers, is unlisted private videos in your YouTube channel are far better than slowing your website down with managing how you're going to help your customers, or your software for that matter. So, okay. And then obviously, how often are the updates and how radical are the updates? I have seen software providers, and not the ones that we've talked about today, but I've seen them randomly releasing updates, which has affected how fast their customers can keep up with changes. And the best example I can give you is Apple updating their iOS software. And I watch my staff. There's 30 iPhones at this company, 30 users, 30 people, all that I give an iPhone to. And it's interesting to watch the people that will just accept the update. So Apple sends out an update of their software to the operating system of my iPhone. I'm usually the first person here at Best Practice to install the update my phone, and get on with life. But there are people here at Best Practice that will leave it, and there'll be 2 or 3 updates their phone wants to do, then other apps stop working. So it really comes down to the appetite for change and the readiness of change, and training your team to understand change and accept change and be ready for change. But then also that the software provider that you choose plans their updates and ensures that they give you adequate support as part of that process. So that's just my little software, what to look for, how to choose checklist. What we're going to do now is just flip over and have a look at my top 10, if you like. My top 10 questions, if you like, if you want to write down a list and take some notes. The 10 benefits of 15 benefits of potentially looking at an ERP, if you like. Let's call it an ERP because it's an enterprise resource planning system that you're going to use for your management system. So I guess success for you guys looks like everybody in your business uses this package to run the organization. It's not something that just is a button in the intranet where they got to go in and put in an incident. It becomes part of your process. So if you're recruiting a new supplier, you're recruiting a staff member, it's the place you go to do an induction. It's the place you go to fill out their personal details. It's the place that they go to get, the information they need to work safely. It's the place that they go to get to record, issues with a piece of equipment they're using. It's the place they go to, get guidance. It's the place they go to input their workflow or the work they're doing. So these software packages we're going to look at do hang on the fringe of that, and there's a price point, and there's also I acknowledge that you guys may not have the ability to influence your whole company, but you can look after your area of responsibility and manage your module, systems management module, if you like. So competition, one of the key benefits is there's a lot of competition out in the marketplace, and that is driving down price to a point that is acceptable and tolerable. And I think what a lot of these providers, particularly 2 of them that I spoke to, they acknowledge that they don't compete with each other, but what they do compete with is spreadsheets and Word documents and paper-based systems. So we are not at a point yet where everybody's got software and they're starting to look at other software. What we're talking about is you guys will probably have lots of spreadsheets, lots of Word policies, PDFs, managing an intranet, managing documents, and it's all a bit organized. It's all a bit all over the place. And how should I organize it? So these systems are competing with you guys figuring it out for yourself versus them giving you some guidance and giving you, if you like, little buckets or shelves to put things into. So when you look at the screens that we're about to show you, you're going to see places to put stuff, and you're going to see how stuff is organized. And I don't think you should reinvent the wheel. I think spending more time on quality communication, training, the master and apprentice principle with your teams is more important than trying to figure out how to put this stuff together, because you can sit at your desk for hours and hours and hours and hours organizing stuff, but I'll guarantee you that half your company won't read it. So spending more time communicating and working with people in a team environment, you're going to get a better outcome anyway. Efficiency. So one of the key benefits of these systems is the scalable nature of covering off repeatable tasks. So a lot of tasks being repeatable, where we're going through and we're doing a particular data entry type task, that if there's a paper-based form and you've got to type somebody's name 3 times to get it to move through your system, software packages, the person's entered once and there's a whole bunch of data that hangs off the bottom of them in this database environment. So efficiency, you're reducing duplication of a particular task across a number of people as it's moving through a process. Obviously forecasting, the more data that you can get into these systems, the more you can forecast. And I'll just give you a quick case study. I worked in an organisation as a consultant about a bit over 10 years ago, and at the time we were looking specifically at identifying hazards. In a 6-month period, we identified over 17,000 hazards, and we were averaging about 2.4 hazard identifications per person per shift. Gives you an estimation of the size of the company at the time. Now, because of the data and because of what we were collecting, if our average of number of hazards identified per person per shift dropped below 2, then we had a 2-week lag to a high potential incident. If we dropped below 1.8, we had a major near miss and a week's worth of stop work orders put on us. And so the data and the forecasting, the more that this information is live and at hand, and it becomes the way that people work, that gives you real-time data and real-time forecasting, it's going to enable your senior management to be able to do better forecasting, better data analysis, and make more fact-based decisions as the organisation is running, and more fact-based decisions about how to guide and steer the organisation into the future. Fact-based decision making, one of the top 8 principles of quality management in ISO 9001, if I've got any nerds with me, or geeks, ISO geeks in the audience today. Obviously collaboration, that goes without saying. Collaboration where people in real time, in a cloud environment, on a mobile device, working, doing the things they need to do. I need to go on site, I need to do a pre-start inspection, or I need to do a plan inspection. If that's happening in a mobile app that's running straight back into the database, you're sitting in the office reviewing the data, and it's real-time collaboration remotely. And that is certainly happening here at Best Practice today with our software package, Excello. We've got people working internationally, all in the same system, all seeing it through the cloud. So obviously collaboration is going to give you a really great opportunity to scale your business. Scalability, so set up a new user, keep running. One of the benefits of software packages is obviously numbers of seats or numbers of licenses. So for you guys, I see some people that I know in smaller organisations, and there's also some people in the audience in large organisations. A lot of these packages have got scalable licenses, so you get the same stuff, but you're paying per user, which I think is a great model and a great way that you just time the cost per head instead of like a lump sum cost to buy software. So that, I want to give some credit to software companies for acknowledging that, they really want their products to be used, they're really passionate about their product, and so somebody who's only got 2 people or 3 people or 5 people in their company are going to get a per user license versus some of the larger companies, obviously paying more per person. The same per person, more people. Integrated information there with other systems. So here at Best Practice, our ERP system talks to our accounting system, talks to some of our mailing and communication systems. And so really important to be looking for and seeing that benefit of integration. So if this system that you go and look at doesn't integrate with other systems in your company, then you need to be looking at, that's where one of the big benefits comes from, is that the data syncs across different platforms. Obviously cost savings, I use our example here at Best Practice of potentially saving headcount. When you save headcount, you also save human error. So that's a great way. Streamlining processes and particularly escalating when issues need to be reported. Okay, Jack, what's on the next page? I talked about mobility. You want to make sure that the software package that you're looking at has got a mobile app. You want to make sure the reporting's really good, and we're going to show you some dashboards. Obviously productivity, so it's part of productivity. You can record and report on productivity, but you can also see productivity. So it's about having people opening up the app, doing their work, and then being able to see that and see transparency in what people are doing. Flexibility, so everybody wants customization. That comes with a disclaimer and a word of warning. These people that build these systems spend a lot of time thinking about how to do stuff and how to make it work. And they also have experience working with a number of organizations. So I would doubt that you will find an out-of-the-box software package that hasn't been tested, particularly for you guys in terms of shopping around. I would recommend against building it yourself, and I would also recommend against freeware systems. So for if you're watching this webinar, you're a specific audience that I know a fair bit about, and I know some of you. So I would be avoiding freeware systems, and I would be avoiding fully customizable systems. I would utilize the professional skills and experience and knowledge that the people have that are building these systems, their experience with working with other companies, and try not to reinvent the wheel, particularly where your people skills might be then transferable between organizations. So with a system that's not custom, you have the ability to then go and recruit people that have used that system before. If your system is fully customized and it is built specifically for your organization, there's one organization in our client base that has a unique, 100% unique software package for their company, and they are way down what I would say a rabbit warren or a burrow, because they've only got the people at their company that know how to use it. They've got a specific consultant that they have to go to and spend money every time they want to customize it, and they can't recruit across companies because they've got to retrain every single person on that piece of software when they start at that company. So my opinion is, until you know what you're doing, stay right away from too much customization and look to the professionals for their guidance and advice on how things might be organized. Okay, obviously customer service. I'm going to give you an example with one of these systems around their customer service this morning, and I'll give you some other examples, negative customer service and positive customer service, but particularly because you guys are learning, you guys are focused on your team, your organization, your people, and you want to get stunning support, like instant stunning support from these providers. Now they are trying to be, automated businesses, software as a service. That's fine down the track, but for the implementation stage of the project, you want someone on speed dial helping you to guide you through and just clear blockages so you can keep moving and get things done. And you want to equally be respectful of their time. So, if you've got one question, wait till you've got 10 questions, then call, rather than just one question. So, because they've got other people to look after, and the more of your time that you consume, the more they will need to charge you. So it's a delicate balance, and I will say that you want to be delicate with that. But you do, if you're working on something critical and you want to keep the momentum going with your project, you want to keep everybody in your company on side, you do need good quality customer support and quick customer support, and even 24 hours, depending on where you are in the world. So, okay, sorry, Jack, I've what's the last one on the list? Okay, and then obviously security. So that's why I'm recommending against freeware systems. If it's a freeware system, it's probably not going to be bolted down as tightly from an information security management perspective. And look, I'm gonna blow my own trumpet. Ask them if they've got ISO 27001 certification. We have an information security certification that if you're purchasing software and it's cloud-based software and you're putting all your company's information into it, then you want to know that those software providers do have an ISO 27001 certification. I'm not aware at this stage that, I didn't look at it specifically whether these providers have that certification, but that is an emerging trend, ISO 27001. If you have any personal information on anybody in your organization, ISO 27001 is the information security protection framework for any company. So it's not just for IT companies, it's for all companies. It's the commercial in-confidence information that's held by your organization, and it's how your organization handles that. That particular ISO standard is exploding. And if you want to know more about ISO 27001, please give our team a shout and give us a call and talk through that and its application in your organization, because that's where our information security assessors will come in and work with you on threats and gaps and risks around protecting information at your organization. It's not just about data, it's about all information, hard copy or soft copy, cloud-based or server-based. So it's everything essentially. Passwords, PIN numbers, phones, mobile devices, all your data. Okay, let's get into it. So Jack and I have just, thanks Jack, you can bring up QPulse. So Jack and I have just got a bunch of browser windows lined up. We're looking at the 4 systems as we go through, and I just want to give you sort of, my view, my independent opinion. Now, this is my personal opinion. It's from my experience and Jack's experience setting up for this webinar. We get lots of questions. We didn't want to do a webinar where we just say, here's one system, go look at this one system. We wanted to give you 4, at least 4. I tried for 5, but we've got time for 4, where we go through these systems and have a look at what's there. So QPulse was the first one, and this was recommended by a number of our international contacts. When I put the post up on LinkedIn asking, what do you recommend? I got a bunch of comments about, would I look at QPulse? So the first thing I want to say about QPulse is we hit the button there, request a demo. I don't know anybody at QPulse, I don't know anybody personally, but we hit the request a demo button. We filled out the data. So Jack put all the details in. We filled all that out there. Jack Hammond, all of his details. We requested a free demo. How long ago was that, Jack? About a week? Yeah, it's about a week ago. No response. So the responsiveness, the customer service that I talked about from QPulse, they get a 0 because they didn't respond. So we hit the button for request a free demo. They didn't send us any information back around requesting a free demo. So all we've got to go off is what's on their website and what's around. Now, I called the Australian phone number for QPulse to chase them up to get a demo from QPulse. And I went through to like a call system where I needed to press numbers and buttons, and I tried that and nobody answered the phone. So I called their salespeople. I tried that twice. No one from sales picked up the phone, so I couldn't even talk to somebody. And I also tried their technical line, and then the technical line had like 12 options. This type of product, this type of product, this type of product, do this, do this, do this. So I'm going to give QPulse a thumbs down for customer service. However, if we look at solutions from QPulse, QPulse is a product that sits within a greater suite of ERP type products, and they appear to be quite a large organisation from the look at their website and what I heard on their phone line with the options. And you can see modules. You can see pretty common modules for, say for example, CAPA on the left there, Jack, in that column, CAPA, Corrective and Preventive Action Management. Just go back for me. So just go back to that menu for me. We'll just go down that menu. So corrective and preventive actions, document management, document redaction, obviously retrieval. I'm going to go into the middle of the next column, incident management, internal audits, ISO standards compliance, risk management, quality management, policy management. So it's got the headings in terms of solutions that most providers have, but I obviously can't get into that system to give it to you. So I'm going to say that yes, that's obviously a system that could be looked at, and I'd be looking really carefully at obviously at those sections and see if those modules work for you. So by all means, reach out to them and contact them. See if you have the same experience as us. Maybe if they see this webinar, it might prompt them to tidy up their customer service and their responsiveness from their sales team. So more importantly, the customer service from their technical team, because I called the technical number too to see if you guys called that number, would someone pick up the phone and respond, direct your call, help you out. And my experience was that I got 12 options, press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for that. I would recommend having that type of phone system when somebody's frustrated. So you guys are frustrated, you're trying to motivate your team, you're trying to implement this system, and you want to call up and get some support because you've tried to solve the problem but you can't. And when you've tried to solve the problem and you can't, and you call up and you've got to go through 12 options, that's going to just cause more frustration. So let's move on. I'm sure they do all of the great stuff. I'm sure they've got clients that give them lots of great feedback. But we're trying to do a review and help you guys, so I wouldn't look at that one. There's better ones out there right now. Okay, Promap. What I liked about Promap, we hit the demo button, it sent us a verification email, and then we were instantly into a 30-day free trial. That was fantastic. The best part about this was we helped ourselves. Now, Jack and I are pretty switched on guys. We went through the process and we went, great, let's get in there. We're in. Here it is. This is the demo system. It's live. Jack's got it open on his screen. Up the top, Promap, and I'm going to suggest that the name says it all, is more about process mapping and identifying processes and less about being a database, and that's okay. Software systems over the last 10 years specifically have moved from being a website where you put your policies and procedures and you still have a paper-based system to a database where you do work. I want you guys to be thinking about 5 years from now. 5 years from now, people won't have desks. They won't have big screens and computers. They'll have mobile devices. There will be less about, I need to look at a flow chart to tell me what to do next, and there will be more about, I'm just interacting with my mobile device doing my work. I know what my work is. I just need to keep records and evidence and artifacts of the work that I'm doing, photos, check off, I did a visual inspection, I talked to somebody, I had a meeting, I took I videoed a meeting. And so, business 5 years from now, what does that look like? It looks like, meeting minutes, for example. Meeting minutes, hear me out, a video of the meeting. You want to know what was said in the meeting? Go back and watch the video of the meeting. You want to know what was said in this webinar? Go back and watch the video of this webinar. So rather than me running a webinar for you guys and then sending you a Word document or a Google Doc of the meeting minutes from this webinar, you can just watch the video. And so business in the future, I'm going to say, my crystal ball says, we won't be writing meeting minutes anymore. We'll be posting videos. So management systems software is more about, okay, well, we do those meeting minutes. We have the video of the meeting. Who do we send that to? We agreed on some actions. We write ourselves a to-do list, or we type a to-do list. How do we push that out to people? So Promap, initially, our initial look was more about it being an intranet system, and looking at where do I put my documents and processes. And just by the look of the page, processes and documents and systems are on the most important real estate on the page, which is right up the top. And there's less stuff further down, the middle there to the a little bit more to the right, Jack, is the dashboard. So my reviews, my feedback, my risks, all that sort of stuff. If I was designing this system to help you guys, from my experience, I would put the dashboard, the data, what gets watched gets managed at the top, right-hand corner, easy to click, front and center. That's the stuff. What gets watched gets managed. And then I would say, when someone sits down at their desk to do work, what's the first thing they do? They don't go to a flow chart to look and find out what they do. They go to enter something. They just did a task. They got to enter some information about that specific task. They did an inspection. They had a meeting. They called somebody. They did a particular task, or they did a test, or they did their work, or they laid some bricks, or they cut some steel, or they whatever the work is that your organisations do out there. They did a water test, or they did a design for something, and they need to keep information about that. The first thing people don't do, they don't sit down at their desk and go to look for a flow chart. What do I do? So Promaps, my feedback on Promap is, they're more of a, how do I write up processes? How do I do documents? Where do I host them? Processes that I own, and I know we've got to go and build out this system, and I've got to do risk assessments and all that sort of stuff. So Promap is a system for you guys to do your risk assessments, your management reviews, your internal audits, write your policies, write your procedures. That's a fantastic system for you guys if you don't know how to build a management system. It doesn't appear at first glance to be a great system that's intuitive for the rest of your business to do their day-to-day jobs every day. So Promap, I'm going to give a 50% score. I think there's an opportunity for them to really be thinking about your users. I want them to be working with you and getting feedback from you about what your people need to do when they sit at their desks. What is your organisation doing? Most organisations are very similar, despite us thinking that they're all very different. But when you see, we've got 1,500 companies that we're working with here at Best Practice, and you know what? They're all pretty much the same. So they've got people, they've got salaries, they've got wages, they've got financial systems, and they're doing some sort of work for a customer. They've got customers, lots of customers, one customer, and they're all pretty similar. So I want Promap to be thinking down that way. Reach out to these guys, how to create a process map, how to edit a process, how to provide feedback on a process. It's more about document creation and document management rather than how do I actually, manage my business. Okay. That's Promap. Have a look at them. We couldn't find a lot of information about what's going on there with them on YouTube, or video-based stuff, and that was just a quick look. Okay, let's talk about Mango. I was fortunate enough to be presented to by Craig at Mango. He did a lovely presentation, told me about their passion and their mission and the growth of their business and all of that sort of stuff. And when we log into a live demo, Craig was really responsive, Promap was really responsive. It's a lovely little company that's based in New Zealand. They've got customers all over the world, and Craig showed me all of the growth plans and everything that's going on. and that was fantastic. So that's Mango software. Management on the go, not the Australian tropical fruit, if that makes sense. So what I liked about Mango, getting straight into it, if you look at your organisation of your menu, it's logical on the left-hand side. Dashboard, front and centre. What gets watched gets managed. So big thumbs up to you guys. Craig, I think you're watching. Craig knows what's going on. Big thumbs up to putting dashboard top, front and centre. As a CEO of the organisation and leading a team of 30, I want to be able to jump in there, see that dashboard. I'm the guy paying the bill. I'm the guy motivating my team. My team know that that's what I go and look at. My team know to focus their work in that area. That gives you priority. Next most important thing from a safety perspective, accidents and incidents. Got to go somewhere. Where's the first aid kit? First aid kit's on the wall. Really obvious location. Fire extinguisher on the wall, obvious location. Obvious location, accidents and incidents, really important. Let's give people guidance and advice. What do we do? What do we need to cover? Accident and incidents there. Now, I'm sure you can edit how these menus sit, and that's probably all editable and customizable, but the out-of-the-box product looks pretty good. Now, the other two modules, I think if you've got Windows open there on the other tabs, you can close that tab. Thanks, Jack. So two things that I think I've observed people to find a little bit difficult is managing suppliers, and then obviously managing, what's the next one we've got there? Sorry, that's their dashboard. Sorry, go back to managing suppliers. Thanks, Jack. So managing suppliers, we've got some work that's outsourced. We've outsourced to specialists, people with their strength is a particular task that helps us do our work for our customer. Managing suppliers can be a challenge. So I liked Mango's, it's got a good, simple supply management module. And I don't want you guys to spend too much time with this constant approval of suppliers or approved suppliers list. But I do want you to have speedy, accurate information about your suppliers where the rest of your team can go in, like someone from one part of the business can say, I had a bad experience, and you want the left hand of the business talking to the right hand of the business. And so these these supplier parts of this system it's very embarrassing if the supplier let you down over there and created chaos for one part of the business, and over here it's a different relationship. And those guys, they're like, don't use these guys, we need to tell the whole company not to use them, or we need to tell the whole company to use these guys, we've got a really great deal, and you want to promote that, then having a central place that's live and it's not paper-based and it's not sitting over in the procurement department. So everyone can go in here, it's transparent, they can search the supplier, find them in there, and then get feedback on them. So I thought that was really great. And then obviously you guys can think about the things that you do and don't need from your suppliers. And then you can also ask the question, does the supplier log into the system? So, sorry Craig, I can't remember talking about whether suppliers could or couldn't log in. So Craig, if you're in the comments there, you might like to post a comment in the super chat on the YouTube comments, whether or not someone whether an external supplier can log into a company system or not. There's obviously a place down there, halfway down the list, Jack, is a place to manage your documents, put your policies, talk about your company, obviously then your dashboard. So this is a system where you can go in and do work. So we are looking at it live, so I'm not sure why it can or can't load, but we've also got a lot of video going on our internet connection, so that could be us, that little red arrow that's coming up. So when you've got, this is a place that your staff go to do work. So when they open up their internet browser, they open up Mango software, they go in and they do their work in this system. They do their record keeping and their paperwork, if you like, in this particular system, and I like that. So if you're looking at a software system, I would encourage you to talk to Mango, have a chat to those guys. They're very responsive. But my recommendation is, before you do, write yourself a list of really, really, really challenging questions and put them under the pump. Because I can guarantee you that it will help Craig and his team improve, and it will help them understand exactly what you want and what you need. And so I do observe that some organisations drift off and sort of, they're maybe not listening as actively as they could to the actual customer. I'm not saying Mango does that or doesn't do that, but I want you guys, when you're ready to do a review, ready to reach out, that you've got your questions ready. Don't just sort of be led by them. Say, I've got this problem, does your system solve it? I've got this problem, does your system solve it? Then you will see the value as you reach out to each of these parties. So there's the dashboard. That's the index page or the My Stuff page, and I assume that's customizable. That's the stuff you want to see on your opening dashboard, and then obviously the statistics for reporting. So lost time injury frequency rates, or quality production, or meeting objectives and targets, that type of stuff. And you know my view on dashboards. I think they're fantastic. Okay, thank you, Mango. And the last one is Lucidity software. And as you know, Lucidity are one of our sponsors. They contribute to the cost of printing our magazine, which we're very grateful for. And if you do know organisations, or you are an organisation that's watching this video and you would like some exposure to the best practice client base, I'm always looking for financial contributions to help me print more of these magazines and get them out to the marketplace. So we don't charge our audience for these magazines. They go out free and they help people, and we are looking for more sponsors. So if you would like to be included as a sponsor in the best practice review, this is our great magazine, and it's got some great management articles in it, lots of great stuff, book reviews, everything that's going on, then we are looking for more sponsors. So if you're interested in talking to us about a sponsorship package, reach out to me, and I can talk to you about how we can help you expose yourself to our audience. I have over 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, and we've got a lot of followers here of best practice, and we're interacting every day with over 1,500 companies. So it's a big audience, and if you want to promote your product or service, we do that formally via our magazine, so it's all transparent and above board. We put ads in our magazine, and that's the way that we recommend people to our client base and our audience. Okay, so Lucidity are one of our sponsors, but they've also got an amazing software package, and I do like it. And I was fortunate enough to participate with Rob Cruz, the leader of the team there at Lucidity, and heads up, everything he's doing in terms of development. I was fortunate enough to go to a meeting with one of our clients, and one of his clients is a joint client, and see a live demonstration of their system, and I quite liked it. I tell you what I liked about Lucidity. Rob has built with his team an interesting little forms module. So if you've got paper-based forms, and I think if you go to management system or intranet drop down, there was a form builder module. We are looking at that live. So in each on-site, inform, one above it, inform. So this system has some recommended structure to it, but then also if you've got paper-based forms, or you've got something that you've created, you're working with your construction company and you're working on a specific site with a specific set of requirements because of a specific client, and a form's been created by the older school people, then there's an inform module here which I quite liked. When we looked at how this was built, you can essentially take a Word document, build out a form, and you can see some examples there: permit to work, IMS audit, example inspection and test plant, daily site diary. And so you have control over those fields, but what you're effectively building is a database. So my recommendation about databases from my experience is if you can limit the type of information and make it numerical or drop downs in the answers to the questions you create in those forms, then you will have very powerful data that you can export and run reports on. If you let your team write random free text into those forms, then you won't get good quality reporting and information out of it. But if you can be quite controlled in terms of drop-down answers to questions, or numerical data to answers to questions in terms of how they go about doing their work, sort of like tick and flick, if you like. But in that environment, you get very, very high quality reporting, and then that transfers out of this inform module out onto a custom dashboard. And that's probably one of the things that I really liked about this. I just got it straight away. So yes, I had a look at the Mango system. We had a look at the other two systems, but when I saw the demo, the live demo of the inform module, I picked up on it straight away. It made sense to me. And you guys are all smart people. You're very, clever professionals. And the fact that you come and watch these webinars, I'm very proud of you doing that, because you're constantly investing what can we improve. And so I think if you were to look at a live demo or get access to a demo system with Lucidity, then you'll see the value of that particular thing, which is the ability to build out the collection of information as your people are doing work. So that, now there are your typical examples that relate to ISO 9001, quality, safety, environment. There's typical examples there. but I see the real value here is in your other tasks. Like I send one of my sales team out on site to do a visit with a customer, and I give them 12 questions that I want asked. There's no reason why Lucidity's Inform module couldn't also be part of your sales, task when you go visit a customer or you do a supplier review, or one of my auditors goes and does an assessment out on site. We have a different system, but we could build out that process, collect that data, and then be able to run reports on that data, which help you with forecasting and help you with management. So I did quite like that Inform module, and that's the thing I really wanted to show you guys. So I would highly recommend having Rob or one of his team do a demo of what they can do on the Lucidity program there. The other thing I liked about the Lucidity program was the dashboard. And so if you look down the menu on the left-hand side of the screen, you can start to see your typical modules that these systems have. All of the systems have stuff that's very similar: incidents and accidents, auditing, a place to put documents and policies, a place to have objectives and targets, a place to do the business description. So the same as Mango and the same as Promap and Lucidity, they're all very similar in that they become your system manual, your quality manual, your safety manual, your environment manual. They become that. So it becomes an intranet that takes that manual, the information that used to be in your manual, and it puts it on an intranet site. So you no longer have that document, if you like. Now, I can only assume that you can export some of that data as a PDF, because you will probably still have customers, when you're doing tenders and submissions to your customers, you will probably still have customers that want PDF style documents to be submitted with tenders. But I can tell you that Lucidity and I think also Mango have a client login function or a client portal. I know that we have a client portal here at Best Practice we're about to roll out. So instead of submitting to your customer in a tender a PDF document, you would submit them a link or a login to your live system and show them your dashboard. And that is trusted, proven internal statistics. So it's very easy to manipulate and lie, if you like, in a tender submission, and the sales team and business development teams have been known to do that in the past. But there's nothing more than showing your client, being very, very vulnerable and opening your client up to your internal system so they can come in and have a look. So there's a contractor login to the Lucidity system, and there's a client opportunity for a client login. Now, when I say client login, Best Practice logs into the Lucidity system to do audits of our clients. So joint clients that we both have, I know my team log into the back end of that system. So the third-party login, and I think I saw a third-party login on one of the other systems. So is there a third-party login for clients or assessors or contractors or auditors, like an external audit login, because a client might be doing an audit on you? So yes. So yeah, that's a quick summary. I'm conscious of time. So at the end of this presentation, it's a quick review. It's 4 systems. There's hundreds and hundreds of software packages out there. There are a lot of ERP or enterprise resource planning systems that touch on management systems. They've got places for documents and policies and procedures and workflow systems. And like I said, the system we use here at Best Practice is called Excello. So I'm not sure, Jack, actually, there's probably too much confidential stuff in ours because we don't have a demo of Excello. But Excello is a system I use here to run Best Practice. It's got a place for policies and procedures, but it is all about us doing work. And so pretty much everybody here at Best Practice just opens that system and does their work every day. It's all online and it's all cloud-based. And that's our record keeping system. So that's the summary of 4 systems. If you want my advice, what should I do next? I would, if I was you, be writing myself a list of the problems and challenges that I have as a systems manager, as a person responsible for ISO, as someone, someone who's responsible for trying to improve things at my company. I would write myself a list of challenges. If you want to bounce any ideas off me on that list, send me a message on LinkedIn. Then, when you're clear on that, reach out to any of these organisations and start doing your due diligence, having a look at cost, having a look at cost benefit, have a looking at the opportunity for you guys to do that. So that's my review. Now, questions, Q&A, how are we going with the chat? So now's the time if you want to post some questions. If you've got any questions about that, are there any questions in the comments, Jack?
Tony, hello. An IMS usually includes coverage of HSEQ. Your thoughts on incorporating additional HSEQ standards as 27001 and product or food safety system into your IMS and one hopefully seamless system?
Hello, Tony. My thoughts on including ISO 27001, absolutely. So with an integrated management system, in terms of like including, can you just bring those comments back up for me on the screen? So including like 27001 or other ISO standards, we're at a point now where the ISO standards that all those systems should have things like a risk management tool that can be any type of risk, quality risk, safety risk, 27001 risk, food safety risk. So risk management functionality that pushes out or gives you the opportunity to capture controls, and then some sort of monitoring mechanism for any of the types of controls. So yes, Tony, a seamless system. I'm pretty confident that you could use Mango to manage 27001 and food safety. I'm confident you could use Lucidity to manage 27001 because 27001 is not significantly different in intent to, say, safety, if that makes sense. So I think you could definitely do that with a seamless system, and even food safety to a certain extent. So yes, my thoughts are yes, and put that challenge to anyone that you reach out to. But yeah, I definitely can see that. Really small tweaks. We've got Annex SL now with Annex SL from the ISO standards. And so, the ISO standards now having that functionality that allows easy integration of your management system. So yes, I think Tony, absolutely, you would use the risk management functionality, corrective preventative action, internal audits, the document repository to put all your policies, procedures, and systems, and then maybe something like what Lucidity has with that Inform Form Builder module. That as you build out the checks and balances that you need to do. Zapier, Tim. Zapier is there we go. That looks like Jack's put the link in for you. Zapier is a system that will take an API. So if you've heard of API, so a lot of systems like Xero, our system here, Excello. I would like to hope that the systems have their back door open that allows Zapier to come in, get information and export it to another system and do that on an automated approach. So anyone who wants to know a little bit more about Zapier, I can talk to you offline about that. But Zapier integrates things, like you can see there, like it's about taking data from one software package to another. For example, taking data from, I see Facebook. I see Facebook there, taking data from Facebook and putting it into your database. So an employee joins the company and you pick up their name, their first name and their last name from Facebook, for example. You might not do this, I'm just giving you an example, or LinkedIn. It can go to LinkedIn, it can get some data and it can put that into another system. It could go to LinkedIn and pick up data and it could put it into your accounting system, Xero. It could go to LinkedIn, it could pick up a person's name or their qualifications. So Tim, with your example at your organisation, you could go to LinkedIn, it could get their skills and qualifications on their LinkedIn profile and stick it into your training system. That's your database of your people. And so it's constantly syncing that, importing that data, so you don't need to type it. So it could go find all your employees on LinkedIn and then pull the data in on their skills and qualifications and push it into your training management system. And it gives a recognition of that data to avoid keying that data in, saving that time. That makes sense. So that's what Zapier is all about. Okay, what other questions have we got in that list? Okay. Zapier, if they have an API, Tim, so do I know if Zapier works with any system? Zapier will work with any system that has an API. So if they promote they have an API on their website, yes, it will work. What other questions have we got up the top? Hey, anyone that's watching, tell me where you're from. I want to hear where you guys are from. I see people from Sydney. Hey, Chris. Hey, Rob. Hey, Josh. Emerald Beach. Nice. Darren from Peakhurst. G'day. Canberra. Hey, Mark. Hey, Rob. So Rob Cruz is watching. He's in the comments if you've got any questions about Lucidity. Now, Craig was going to watch from Mango. I can't see any comments from Craig. Craig, if you're there, post a comment. So you guys that are watching, let me know where you're from. I'd like to know, who's out there behind the camera, because just me and Jack here in the studio. Has anyone got any more comments or questions from the audience? Can you delete that free adult dating? Who's that person? Kick them out. Right, okay. Interesting. Harvey Bay. Yes, Chris, I know you're from Harvey Bay. Hey, Rob. So Rob Cruz is there. If you want to talk to Rob about Lucidity, he's there watching in the comments. Craig. Yes, he is. There's Craig just above. So Craig's in the audience. So Craig from Mango's watching. Thank you to Craig for your information and sending everything through to me this morning. Responsiveness. Thank you, Rob. So Craig from Mango and Rob from Lucidity, both for assisting us in this process. So thanks, guys. And look, the final summary of what we've been talking about today is, these guys, while they're competitors, and yes, the packages we looked at today, they're all a little bit different and they've got their little nuances. Those guys are out there, all very passionate about getting you guys off spreadsheets, getting you guys off Word documents, getting you guys off docs. So that's what they're there to do. Hello.
Tim Stutman asked if we audit against any of the systems you've got.
Yes, Tim. Yes, so yes, Tim. There was a question there about, do we audit any of these systems? Yes, we do. We audit. We've got clients using Lucidity, and we've got clients using Mango. We've got clients using lots of other things, and yes, we do. So Lucidity. I've heard examples from my assessors specifically about going into the back of Lucidity, of a client's instance of Lucidity, and doing their desktop reviews and starting off their certification process. Now that's great that we can independently log in from our office to do the reviews, but we are being pushed by the JASANS, our regulator, to do all of our assessments on site. So the functionality is fantastic that we can independently log in and look, but I just want to let everybody know that we are being pushed quite hard. I think it's the final push by the regulators and by the older school part of the assessing community. To, they're trying to like, just gently clutch onto the, the travel and the international travel and the hotels and the bottles of red wine and the business class flights. I think that's sort of the, they're grasping like, no, we've got to go on site, but it's all about, it's all about living the dream, if you like. But in real time, this is the way forward. So it's interacting in the virtual environment. We're all near our families, near our homes. That's what I'm very passionate about that we're working remotely, cloud-based, interacting internationally with a great audience of people in this style of environment. So while our assessors are being pushed to go on site, the reality is that there isn't much on site anymore. It's all cloud-based, and certainly these systems significantly improve that situation where everything can be accessed remotely. I have a view and I have a vision, and I'm pushing pretty hard in the international community to have these, the ISO assessments and that type of stuff happen, with great programs like Google Hangouts or Skype, where screens can be shared and it's all transparent and it's real time and it's people interacting through web cameras and sharing desktops. That's the way of the future. It minimises cost, it doesn't take us away from our families at night, and it really puts work back into the place where it is, which is the thing to get the money to fuel the rest of your lifestyle. So I'm not a big fan of sending my people all over the countryside and taking them away from their families and their homes and their lives, just because there are a group of people that think assessments need to be conducted on site. Assessments are about honesty and trust, and these systems are about building honesty and trust and transparency in your organisations. And so, I see that as being the future, but we're right at the end. So we're right at the end where there's this final push, and and eventually I will start having an impact on the international community where we can just join each other in a virtual environment, in a Google Hangout or a Skype call or Apple FaceTime. You can FaceTime. We're doing it all the time with our assessors. We're FaceTiming. They're showing us things on FaceTime. They're saying, "What do you think about this?" And we're saying, "Yes, I agree. Don't agree." Hang up the phone. So I don't need to be everywhere all of the time, wasting hours and hours in traffic in the car, on planes and hotels and all that sort of stuff. So It's about being really, really efficient, and that's the way forward. So these systems we've looked at today, they're going to give us that. That's the way of the future, and I'm going to keep pushing at it because I think it's absolutely fantastic. So the mobile environment, I didn't really touch on it very much, but both Lucidity and Mango have great mobile apps, and that's ultimately where we want to be. We want people to be pulling their operational device out, capturing what they need to capture on their mobile device, and moving on to the next thing, and not having to come back to an office to sit down and to do all the paper shuffling, because it's just not efficient. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and it's not a great way to have, to keep your organisation competitive in the future. These systems are about competition for you guys. If we can help your organisations to be efficient, well structured, safe, sustainable, you're going to be more competitive in your marketplace. So I think building that out. So any more questions? Hey Josh, no, I haven't had any exposure with Beacon, but I'll go and have a look at it. So there's a few more other systems that were recommended. There's Beacon. Let's do a quick review. Okay, so Beacon is a software. Jack's got it. Okay, here it is. So this is system number 5, bit of bonus. I'll spend 5 more minutes on this. If you need to leave the webinar, just make a note of the time. We were probably at about an hour and 10 minutes, and I'll do 5 more minutes. So if you need to leave and get on with work, that's fine. This recording will be posted on our YouTube channel. We'll email the link out to the recording, and you guys, if you need to go, you can watch. So I'll do 5 minutes. Never seen this before. Based in Sydney, San Francisco, and London. So that means that they've obviously got some people representing them in those locations. Can you click the software tab for me? Okay, contractor management, incident management, injury management. Again, my recommendation is dashboard, top of the list, front and center. These systems are not about doing the work, they're solving a problem, and the problem is about transparency, scalability, and seeing the things, focusing on the things that matter. It's not about the tools to actually do the job. So this is what I see there straight off the bat is a toolbox list, but it's about, it's not about a screwdriver, it's about a screw that's been in the wall. So you go to the hardware store. Why do you go to the hardware store? You go and get a screwdriver, but what you actually need is to actually have something fastened to the wall. So it's again to Beacon. I want Beacon to be thinking about it when you're thinking, what is the problem that Beacon is solving? So Beacon is solving a problem of transparency, compliance, communication, and workflows and efficiency in an organisation. I just see a toolbox. And so I see a company that's driven by, solving problems, not necessarily actually getting in there and really thinking about what the customer... Now, they may well do that, but I don't see a website that shows that. Take me back up the top to that list again. But it has got the standard stuff. Contractor management is a big deal. And when I look down the list there and I see companies like Bunnings and Victoria Coffee and that sort of stuff, they obviously have lots and lots of contractors. CSR, Brisbane Airport, Orica, CHEP, lots of contractors, and contractor management would be a big problem or a big risk for those organisations. I also see, if you scroll, just move the screen just a little up so I can see those 6 images. They've put safety management at front and centre on their website. So safety management appears to be the driver behind this software. A risk register, obviously very important to have a common place for a risk register. Task management software. Now, what I'm most concerned about is that your team are able to go to a place. This becomes the first piece of software that they open when they go to do their work, not email. So successful software will be when people come to work, the first thing they open is the piece of software that you select, not their email, if that makes sense. And so we want to get people off Word documents, we want to get them out of email, we want to get them in this thing as their workspace, their workplace, their placemat, their screen on their machine if they're sitting at a desk doing that type of work, or on their mobile device. So they turn up for work, the first thing they do is open the app, whether it's the Beacon app or whether it's that sort of thing. So task management, really, really critical, really, really important. I see compliance potentially as an issue that these guys are solving. I see a learning management system, a contractor system, and then obviously software. So a bit of an attempt at safety, risk, tasks at the top, and I see compliance in terms of what I'm looking there at the screen if I step out of the way. So down here I see compliance, and up here I see sort of risks and tasks. So just the feel of their website, I see, I'm basically seeing safety flavour. So if you're looking for a safety system, I would. It looks okay. I would go and have a look at that. Are there any screenshots? What about in that All right. Audit software. What happens if you click on audit software? Okay, great. I'm sure it's reliable. Show me a screenshot. Contractor management software. I'm going to be harsh. Show me. Yeah, I'm not seeing, like, I don't want to see a picture of a train. I want to see a screenshot. Like, you guys, that's what you want to see, right? You want to see the actual thing that you're going to be using, like not a train and not a container, not a plane. Like, great, the web designers have done a great job. But when you're starting to do your due diligence and starting to look at this, you want to get in there and have a look before you make that commitment. That's Beacon. There's your bonus system. Sorry, I'm a bit harsh, but that's the reality, right? Like, I'm here to protect you guys as individuals. You guys are doing your due diligence. You're limited with time. You're limited with funds, and you want to be successful. So we want people to come along on that journey. So lots of screenshots. So to the software providers and to you guys, what are you looking for? Look for screenshots of the software. Look for YouTube videos of the software, how to use it. Look for what's the support going to be. You'll figure it out. They're all great systems. Like, they are all great systems. It's just how quickly can you figure it out? And the faster you figure it out, the more cost effective it's going to be. So support so that you guys can figure it out really quickly, get it implemented. When you figure it out quickly, you will be confident, and that confidence will resonate, and your team will come on board with you. If you're not confident, your team won't come on board. So you guys as the systems manager, you guys as the people responsible for this, you've got to be confident. Like, I've learned that from experience with our ERP system here at Best Practice. The previous system I wasn't confident with, I had issues with it, it constantly had bugs. My team didn't take it on board because they were like, well, I can't see that he's confident. The leader sets the tone. So right at the beginning of this webinar, I talked about what's really important for you guys. You know, you're in the airplane, your oxygen mask drops down, put your own mask on first. High tone, happy-go-lucky, confident, do your due diligence, put your own mask on first so that you can help the rest of your team. So get confident. Communication is going to be the way forward, and influence is going to be the way forward. So how can you improve influence skills? Then start writing your list. Go back and watch this webinar over again. It's a recording. It's going to be available on our YouTube channel in the webinar playlist. It's available on our training academy to download. So get yourself right first, get confident with it, go do your due diligence. Shout out to me on LinkedIn if you've got any questions. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I'm really passionate. Okay, what have we got? Any more questions? Pretty happy. Okay, so have we got a closing slide? Are we done? Okay. Oh, wow. We are having a 35% off sale in our training academy. You use the coupon code Invest in Your Career down the bottom there to get 35% off anything in the training academy to the end of the financial year. So we're running, it's the end of financial year here in Australia, so 35% discount on all of that great training that's available in our training academy. As always, if there's a specific course that you think that would work well, that we could promote to our customers, if it's a piece of content that we have or something that we do well that you would like to be made available for your team, for your people, that we can do. We're starting to build the next round of courses and products in our training academy, and I'm looking for suggestions, the types of things that you think I could help you with. If it was a video and I was saying something, there's an induction product in there. It was a bit of a test, starting to get some momentum. So if I can help in your inductions, if I can help teach and motivate and inspire your team on your journey to business improvement, let me know, because we are starting to build those products. The next webinar is in a month's time. We are circling back to a topic. So inside the back cover of Certified Magazine, we'll have that available up on the Training Academy for download of the soft copy by the end of tomorrow. We'll try and do it by this afternoon, but we just got to track down the PDF that we can upload. So the next webinar is on the 11th of July, and it's the clear picture of organisational performance. We're looking more about performance dashboards. We have covered that content before. That's on the 11th of July. There's a webinar on the 8th of August, how to set objectives and targets, and then a webinar on the 5th of September, ISO standards, the common elements. So the dates are published in the back of Certified Magazine of the upcoming webinars. Jack, would you mind just jumping across into the webinar playlist on our YouTube channel. So I just want to quickly show you guys the webinar list in our YouTube channel. If we jump into the video manager and playlists, there is e-learning workshops. How many in that list now? I'm putting Jack under pressure now. Here it is. I'll step out of the way. How many there? 18. There's 18 webinars now, 18 of our monthly webinars. So this will be the 19th. So 19 months we've been doing these webinars. There's the list. So it's over in e-learning workshops playlist in the Training Academy. So if you haven't seen or if you want to know what we've been talking about, there's all the webinars. They're worth going back and having a look at. Any of those specific topics that you want more guidance on, tons of free content there in that YouTube channel. So thanks everybody. Thanks very much. I'm going to hang around near our live chat. So if you have got questions, if you'd like to interact with me over the next hour, I'll hang about with our live chat with our website. So if you go to bestpracticecertification.com.au, I'll monitor the live chat if you've got any more questions. I'll watch the comments against this video. So for those of you that are watching after the live event, please comment if you've got any questions, and we will answer your questions. I'm running out of voice. But also our Facebook page. So the Best Practice Facebook page, you can message us and I'll monitor that. So I get the messages onto my iPhone. So I'll get the Facebook messages from the Facebook page and the live chat over there. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope this has been valuable. I hope it helped you. I hope it gave you my little insight. If you want that checklist that we talked through, go back to that timestamp. It's at about the 20-minute timestamp here in the video. Just rewind, screenshot that checklist, and those are the types of things that you can look at when you're investigating, doing your due diligence on your software. So thanks very much everybody. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate everybody's time. There's great courses available over in the Training Academy, 35% off till the end of June 2018. Use that coupon code and grab yourself a bargain. There's internal auditor training. There's in-depth analysis on all of the ISO standards, ISO courses. Some great stuff there on ISO 45001. And soon to be released will be a new leadership course, a masterclass on leadership, influence and development. We're about to start documenting that course, so watch this space. That'll be ready in probably about a month to 6 weeks time from now. So watch out for that. Some great products coming in our Training Academy, and I'll see all of you next time. Thanks for watching.